Interest rates are going up. Trying to get ahead is mighty, mighty tough. Bill collectors at my door. I need someone to help me raise my credit score.
Welcome back to another edition of the Pearl Polto Show, and this is the show. We're going to educate you right there, and if you're going to hear everything here first. So if you see it on the news in a couple weeks or a couple days, you know you heard it here first. And you know, and I don't blame people for copying what we do on the show, but you know, it's give credit where credit's due, as I always say. We have a special treat for you today. Not just because we have Dr. Paul back on, but we have a special treat. He just finally received the cold laser therapy, the new edition, and we'll go into that a little bit later. But today we're going to talk about, and many of you out there have health. They have health. Well, they think they have health, and they're on the vitamins. With the health foods, the shelves growing 4 by the day. If you go to your supermarkets, you go to your drugstores, you're choosing the right supplement for you and your family can be very, very challenging. And all the questions we want to know is to separate the facts from the fiction, because you really don't know what to get today. And why even take vitamins? For decades, we have heard that you don't need a vitamin if you eat the right foods. Well, a supplement is named by a healthy diet and not to replace an unhealthy one. You still need to eat plenty of plant foods like beans, nuts, fruit, and vegetables, and some fish for energy and a long-term health. Why should you buy vitamins, and are they all the same? What does the fancy words mean? High potency, super vitamins. Let's find out the claims on the bottle. Are minerals better? And when you should take your vitamins. Some say calcium, take no more than 500 milligrams a time. At night, high doses of calcium can improve your iron absorption. Do children need vitamins? And what should I look for when choosing a vitamin? There are vitamins for women, vitamins for men, vitamins even for sports people, and the list goes on and on. One take 15 pills a day, feel great, but even I could be doing something wrong. Did you know that blacks, African Americans, are more likely to die because of a vitamin deficiency? But it's not just the blacks that need more vitamins. 82% are blacks. You could also get tested by your doctor. Did you know that? You can get tested by your doctor to see what your vitamin level is in your body. And your doctor will not tell you this. Why? I guess he doesn't want to sell vitamins. The reason behind this is skin tones. They can produce an amount of vitamins like D. An example, sunlight of the darker skinned people are more prone to die than light skinned people. Vitamin C, is it really a cold factor to stop colds? Or too much vitamins can be dangerous to you? Anyone who thinks that taking a vitamin for perfect health to be healthy is crazy. And why would you think if you popped a pill that you bought in a drugstore that would decrease you with any major disease? The reason why I wanted to do this show today is because many people, when I go into a supermarket or when I go anywhere, I see what's going on, and you want to know, because everyone wants to know, to get more healthy, the vitamins that you're taking and how to get more healthier. What vitamins should you avoid before surgery? That's another thing that's interesting. When you're going for surgery and you're taking all these vitamins, do you ask your doctor? Do you tell your doctor what vitamins to take and what vitamins should not you take? Another benefit, which I brought to the attention of a lot of people out there, actually in the last couple weeks, and I told them about what I was taking, a tryptophan. Now, and the one person said, but didn't they take this off the market? And I said, well, then they better take turkey off the market, because a tryptophan isn't also in turkey, and it's a relaxation, it's for a mood. I'm going to tell you, because a lot of people says to me, Pearl, you look so healthy. You're always on the go. You have so much energy. What do you take? Well, I'm going to tell you what I take, and it could be right, it could be wrong. So we're going to find out all these answers today. The pills that I take, And as I said, I'm a credit expert. I'm not a vitamin expert. I'm not a health expert. So we're going to see what pills is right for you. I take 13 pills a day. I take vitamin B complex, vitamin C, vitamin D, coenzyme, apple cider vinegar, magnesium, omega, cinnamon, citrical calcium, ginger, alpha lipo, super enzymes, and turmeric. That's the Indian. Let me tell you a little bit about my guest. Dr. Paul Tice. I call him Dr. Paul. I take the last name off. He was around before Dr. Oz was even around.
What a guy.
And if Oprah knew Dr. Paul.
I wrote to Oprah 100 times.
If Oprah knew Dr. Paul before she came across Dr. Oz, I can assure you she would have had him on the show first.
Of course, I'm not a cardiothoracic surgeon, but...
Well, first of all, he's a chiropractor. He's a healer of the first-time cold laser therapy, which we're going to go into all this. He's also an expert in healing. He's also with the weight loss therapy. I have been to many, many doctors, and many did not help. And I came across him because of another doctor, and that was years ago. I trusted his treatment so much, I brought him even to see my own mother, who was bedridden, and who also had a stroke, and to help her. And he did. She was feeling so much better. Even in the bed, she was feeling so much better. As you see, I'm on a crusade for credit. Well, Dr. Paul was on a crusade to help the people with anything that ails you. If something is wrong with me, believe me, I call him first, and he's always there. I know this goes worldwide, but those of you in the Philadelphia area, the Montgomery County area, the Bucks County area, many of his services is available to you personally, person to person. And those of you that are not in the Philadelphia area, not in Montgomery County, let's suppose you're in California, well, then he's a phone call away. As many of my clients say to me, Pearl, if something should happen to you, we don't know what to do. As a consumer advocate, a credit expert, we're done. Well, I say the same thing about this guy. Nothing better ever happened to him because he's my lifeline to good credit, as I am your lifeline to good credit. My guest has been on the show before. Actually, he's been on my show many times on my radio and the TV. But his expertise is much more than a shaved head today. He was there before Dr. Oz. He does it all from making his patients healthy. And it's pretty sad that he's not known worldwide as Dr. Oz, but we're getting there. He also has the cold laser therapy, which to me, it's a cure all by itself. You're going to learn about this today. His vitamins, he's a know-it-all in the field of what to do, what not to do. When I met someone with this much knowledge and talent, I don't want to let him go either, and I want to share him with you now, with all his expertise and his knowledge for you, as well as to be healthy and to live right. And let's take the facts away from the fiction and the myths, and we're going to stop it right now with any health disease. My show today is going to separate the facts from the fiction, which vitamins to take and which ones not to take, if any. Welcome, Dr. Paul, back to the show.
Thanks, Pearl. Love you, babe.
Now, you heard everything that I had to say,
yes.
First of all. Now, let's start with the vitamins. You hear all the vitamins that I took. Which ones are good, which ones are bad, which ones
Well, let me have your list.
Okay. And I take this every day now.
So starting, you mentioned Dr. Oz when he was on Oprah.
Right.
He said, there's a lot of things I'd like you to take because I'm a doctor, but you're not going to take everything. It's the same with me. Mm-hmm. And he recommended the 4 most important ones that everyone should recommend the same thing he did, which is a good multivitamin. So before going into your list, some people go, I take a B and I take a C and I take a mineral. You should take one really good multivitamin that has all that stuff in it.
Okay.
He recommended, which should be a no-brainer in the field of nutrition, a multivitamin. Everybody's heard of it. A vitamin D, Everyone's heard of it because it's the job of vitamin D to hang out in your blood and bring the vitamins into your cells, which means you get more out of your vitamins if you take vitamin D with your multivitamin. There's never enough vitamin D in your multivitamin. You need to take
So
that
I'm
separate.
taking-
So hold on.
Go ahead.
Just a multivitamin, a vitamin D, a magnesium product, which I only recommend magnesium malate for a big long reason. Love that malate. And complete essential fatty acids. And it would be nice if those vitamins that you're taking, you called the company and said, hi, do you subscribe to Proposition 65 in California, which means they pay to have an outside company analytically analyze their product. If you call, I can't say who, but if you call any of the 95% of the garbage companies that make vitamins, they analyze their own vitamins, and they're allowed to lie.
What about the drugstores? When a person goes into a drugstore and they see a whole, what do you think of these vitamins in the drugstores?
Most of the 95% of the vitamins on the market are garbage. So wherever you buy it, like I only use pretty much one type of vitamin.
No, okay, we're going to go into what you use.
Because they're very metabolizable. The ones you would buy cheaply, you would think they're cheaper, but if you took one of mine, which I don't make it, it's from a professional company, top of the line health food store variety, your body metabolizes all of it.
So if a person goes into a drugstore and says, wow, this is so cheap, I'm going to get it. That's,
Yes.
They're wasting their money?
They're wasting their money, and there's a vitamin that I can't say what it's called, but I used to take one a day every day. And there was a story of a Dr. Cavallo who had a septic tank, and the first inch of that 20 years ago was the vitamins he gave his family because they were cheap vitamins that weren't metabolizable and went right through the body, right through the toilet, right into the septic tank,
Okay.
and that's how they found that out. So
what am I taking wrong here?
so what are you? Well, nothing wrong. I take
But I should be taking a multi.
one vitamin B complex. So the vitamin that I take is a broad spectrum, high potency vitamin that has all the B's in it. So if you took my multivitamin, you wouldn't have to go get B complex because it's already in there.
It's already in the multi. Go ahead.
Vitamin C, you're taking 1,000, and that's terrific. They say you can only metabolize 60 milligrams at a time. However, in my own life, I find that when you take more, it makes you better, faster, and healthier. However, our pediatrician says there's nothing that proves that. And I say, you know, what about Linus Pauling and winning a Nobel Peace Prize and writing a book called Anatomy of an Illness that talks about vitamin C and how well it helps you stay healthy. No vitamin usually has enough vitamin C, so in my opinion, you're totally right in taking an extra vitamin C. 3 vitamin Ds, you have to. You should probably take 5. You're taking 3, you need 5.
Vitamin
5,
D's, you said.
yeah, right here. 3
Okay.
vitamin Ds you're taking.
So you're saying 3,000 of vitamin D a person should
right,
take.
that's I use. They measure
Okay.
vitamins, so you should take 5.
Okay.
You're a woman, I can tell.
Okay.
You say 4 coenzymes. Is that-
Coenzymes.
So that's coenzyme Q10
Yes.
or CoQ10. So like
How many milligrams should a
you
person
should take if you make that until you're 37. At 37, you stop making it, and then all signs of old age can be traced to CoQ10 depletion, also called ubiquinone for its ubiquitous action on every cell and process in the whole body. You have to take 200 just to make your body have what you used to produce,
Okay.
and not get old early.
Okay.
I take a minimum of 400.
Okay.
400 is the clinical dosage. I'm a chronic pain patient. I take 1,200 a day.
You take 1,200 of coenzyme a day.
But I'm a chronic pain patient, and it really helps with that.
Now, how does it help with that?
All I can tell you is
I
that
mean, does it make you feel better? Does
it makes
it
you
stop the
feel
pain?
better. It is a super antioxidant.
Okay.
And it is part of an energy chain, CoQ1 through CoQ10, and you stop making 10. So after 37, if you stop making the end of this energy chain in your body, like you eat a hamburger, and it goes through an energy chain in you, and if it's missing the last link, which is CoQ10, then you never make energy as efficiently as you used to. And people go, oh, I feel older. I
Okay.
crave caffeine. Or you could take CoQ10.
Okay.
So I would take a minimum. I would never take less than 400, but you're okay with 200 if you have nothing wrong with you. 5 magnesium. I don't know what the milligram is, but I would take magnesium malate And the ones I get, you take 3. If you take more, it's just better for you.
Okay. So it's not going to hurt you.
No, it's just good for you.
They say magnesium tablets is for blood pressure as well. Is that true?
All of the minerals will, help in some way, but the most famous one for that is potassium.
Potassium.
But don't take too much potassium; it'll kill you.
Okay.
It should be given to you by somebody who
Is it
knows what they're
magnesium
doing.
though? Relax your muscles and stuff?
Magnesium does relax your muscles. In fact, magnesium and calcium used to be given by nurses to patients as a muscle relaxer, and in the last 20 years, we found out that calcium can not only build up in many different places in your body, brain, heart, muscle, joint, but calcium tightens muscle and magnesium loosens muscle. So
So why do they put it together then?
Because calcium and magnesium are used reportedly in a 2-to-1 fashion in the body.
Because you're strengthening my muscle, you're relaxing it, and then you're making it hard at the same time.
Well, you need both anyway in a particular amount. So if your muscles were too flaccid, you might want to take extra calcium. If your muscles were too tight, which is everybody I've ever met, you might want to take more magnesium, which is why I don't want calcium and magnesium in the same pill.
Okay.
I have a muscle cramping condition, and when it gets bad, if I take a bunch of magnesium malate, it makes it much better or goes away. I'm so glad I have that as medicine. 6 apple cider vinegar. Are these pills?
The apple cider vinegars are the pills.
So in my world, I go, don't buy them. Whoever's selling them, good for you. I go to Whole Foods and I get the real apple cider vinegar, which says on it has the mother in it. You don't refrigerate it, and don't ask me what that is. It has to be some natural thing that when you don't process it and
But
pasteurize it.
how's it good for you? How's the apple cider vinegar good for you?
As best as I can tell you, even from 50 years ago, from a book called Vermont Medicine, where a woman doctor who moved to Vermont with her medical degree and went, I'm going to learn all the really cool things that the grandmoms use to help heal people out in Virginia, because there's such cool natural healing out there. And one of the big things she wrote about was apple cider vinegar. Now, you can buy your gallon of apple cider vinegar real cheap, and I use that for salad dressing, and I buy a smaller bottle of apple cider vinegar, which says on it organic, has the mother in it, and when you open it, gas escapes. All I know is we really don't want to be having vinegar. We don't want to be having things that are acidy in our diet.
But they say the apple cider vinegar can counteract the acid in your body.
That's a whole nother topic, and they're only talking about counteracting over acid in your stomach. How is that? One question, how is apple cider vinegar good for you? It is likely traced to the malic acid that is in the apple cider vinegar. That's why I get magnesium malate. Because in order to get enough malic acid in your diet, you need to eat a dozen organic apples every day. And nobody does that.
No.
So we absolutely likely, no matter what your diet is, you are not getting enough. That's why an apple a day keeps the doctor away. That's why there's a Johnny Appleseed.
So check that off my list, the apple cider vinegar.
I would take that off the list, and I would go to Whole Foods or Trader Joe's, and I would get the real, and I drink it. I like it.
Believe it or not, I do have a bottle of that, and I did get it from the health store, but I don't use it every day, or I figured the pill would be easier.
It is. The second question was, how does the apple cider vinegar counteract the acid in your body? When you are having indigestion, the real term for that would be extra digestion, because you have too much acid going on in your stomach and you might have some esophageal reflux. We just have named stuff wrong for some crazy reason. So we're not really having indigestion, my stomach hurts, we're having extra digestion because there's extra acid in there. And if you drink apple cider vinegar, and this doesn't work with me, and I'm not recommending this for people, but it does work on some people, not on me, because I have a severe condition with my stomach. If you have too much acid going on in your stomach and it's bothering you, you drink some apple cider vinegar, that's acetic acid. Your body is supposed to react by kicking out its own alkalinity, its own cure for acid.
So what do you do for that then? If you don't take the apple cider vinegar, what do you suggest?
Right, the apple cider vinegar does work on a lot of people. I'm not recommending it because if it doesn't, it makes you burn.
What will work?
What would work is chlorophyll. I get liquid chlorophyll. Okay. You may have that in your fridge because I'm always trying to get you to drink it.
Right.
Iron Man thought it was important. Go Chelsea, there you go. She even invented a drink called the Tony Stark, which is vodka, chlorophyll.
Chlorophyll is not sold. Now,
And
all
soda.
this stuff you could get through you, but you can't buy the chlorophyll in your drugstore or even your health store, yes, but not that many people out there that I'm talking to has a health store around them, so they can get it through you at the end, can't
Yeah, they can contact me,
Okay.
send me a check or
Okay.
credit card through you.
Now we have cinnamon.
Oh, okay. Well, also you have 7 omega.
Okay.
So just the fact that you have 7 and omega is very interesting, because in the old days,
No, 7 is only the number.
oh, so omega would be
Okay.
complete essential fatty acids, so that you get omega 3s, 6s, and 9s. Science isn't sure. Now they're saying maybe you shouldn't get the 6s. We think they cause inflammation. I'm like, you know what? God put all of them in a fish. So I just think every time we mess with nature, we screw it up because we don't really know what we're doing.
Is krill the same as omega?
Krill is a type of shrimp, and they take the complete essential fatty acids, the omega acids, 3, 6s, and 9s, from that, and they're saying they think that's a better, more metabolizable form. You know,
Okay.
it may be. It's also more expensive. That is the most important. It is the most sold supplement on the planet. Not because I think it's important, because grandmothers were giving it in the form of cod liver oil 100 years ago to their grandkids, because they knew when they were sick, if they gave them this stuff, it made them get better faster, and we now know how that works scientifically.
Okay.
So if you took nothing else, you should just take that.
Omega.
And, of course, that's why you look marvelous. The famous Dr. Perricone, who has the same prescription as me. I can remember my wife screaming at 2 in the morning going, this guy says all the same stuff you do.
Yeah.
How come he wrote a book and you're on TV? And he is. And I went, well, he's a little older than me and much more handsome, you know, and came first. But all the stuff he was saying was right. He said, I'm a dermatologist, and I became a doctor because I wanted to help people.
You know, when you talked about Dr. Perricone, this is where I got the also
The alpha
watched
lipoic
him
acid?
as well.
That's just another super antioxidant.
Okay.
So I can't take all of them. There is some alpha lipoic acid in the vitamin that I get.
Now, what is that? What is that? I don't
It
even
is
know what
a
it is. I'll
super
be honest with you.
antioxidant.
Okay, that's all it is.
Yes.
No, he said the.
CoQ10. That's a super antioxidant also.
Okay.
However, I can't take everything. I can't take 27 pills. I studied under a gentleman who took 85 pills a day and lived to be like 90 with his doctors telling him, you need this operation, you need that operation, you're going to die from this. So he did die from something, but at like 92. You know, so God bless him.
Okay. Cinnamon.
Cinnamon. Use of cinnamon is to help balance sugar. It's usually for diabetics.
Okay.
And people, you know, now ask for it. To get people off of coffee.
Okay.
They can take a teaspoon of organic honey and put cinnamon on it and eat it. And coffee, especially with any kind of sugar, real or fake, gives you a spike of energy
Wait a
and
minute.
a crash.
Get honey. Put some cinnamon on it, and
Yeah.
what does it do for you?
And that's what I'm telling you. What it does is it gives you the same kind of energy that caffeine does, but
Okay.
caffeine and sugar gives you a spike of energy, and then you crash, and then you need more coffee. Whereas honey doesn't work like that. It gives you a shorter, not as high a spike of energy, and then it maintains. And the cinnamon is like a magic ingredient that helps with that too.
Interesting.
And often you ask your doctor, medical, I have diabetes, I don't want to be doing coffee or really caffeine because of how it affects the permeability of the cell membrane
Right.
to insulin and sugar. Can I do a small amount of honey and cinnamon? And they'll tell you based on your values. And it's good for you anyway. And there's one more magic ingredient. If you add to that, sometimes cures people's diabetes.
Interesting.
9-citracell calcium.
That's the calcium.
So that is likely calcium citrate.
Yes.
So if I get calcium, I get calcium citrate malate because you can't get enough malic acid. It does 100 important things for you. It's in the magnesium. And I can't get enough citrate either. They're both energy molecules. I'm chronically fatigued, and I need all the help with extra energy. And consequently, it's the same program you would give to an athlete or even somebody who wanted to get rid of a chronic condition.
I was having. Who gave me this one? Believe it or not.
Ginger?
No, the the calcium, citrate calcium. I wanted to get
Yeah,
a good
that's
calcium.
a good
My
idea.
own doctor is the one. My MD doctor is the one who said, "Get this," because I don't know what he said, but I've been taking it ever since.
Yeah, it's good, but I'm like, if you're going to get calcium citrate, why wouldn't you get calcium citrate malate? So they're both in there.
Okay.
Because you need as much of both as you can
And
get.
that's calcium.
Unless you're going to eat 10 organic apples every day, then
Okay.
don't get it.
Okay. Ginger.
Ginger. One of my favorite things when I juice for myself, for patients, I put 5 or 6 magic things in there. I'm a normal human being. I'm not going to do 37 things. It takes too long. Ginger, known as a gift from the gods for its myriad healing properties to the Asians. The oldest story is the emperor was sick, and in the old days in China, doctors got paid every day you were healthy, and they did not get paid when you were sick. And they called in doctors for the emperor, and if they didn't heal the emperor fast enough, they killed the doctor. And one doctor came in and gave him preparations of ginger, and he got better where no one else got him better, and it's from there. It's in many Asian foods. There isn't a day that I don't eat ginger. I often carry a hunk of ginger, which is a root. God makes it, in my pocket, and I'll take a little bite.
How about the ginger pill?
See, that's the thing, too. Whoever's selling the ginger pill, good for him, but every time man messes with nature, he makes it not as good.
Okay.
You need to get a ginger root and bite it. You need to slice it in quarter-sized pieces and put it in a cup of coffee.
You can
Not-
get that in
not
your
coffee.
supermarket. The ginger, correct? True
yes.
ginger, and then you slice it, as you're saying?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I
that's
will
the
make
ginger.
garlic and ginger sauce with a little, peanut oil or something in a pan, and that's garlic and ginger sauce. It's like medicine, but it's delicious. Throw some
Everything you're
eggplant
saying,
in there or
everything
something.
that the India or the Chinese, everything you're saying is they've been saying for years, obviously.
Thousands of years.
Thousands of years with it.
That's
the alpha we've already done
the
with.
alpha lipoic acid we
now,
talked about.
The enzymes.
I mean, that's good. I would like to take it, but I'm taking 15 pills. I can't take any more. I can't also get one of those.
Now, there's the super enzymes I take. And I take them because the older you get.
I had one more thing about the alpha lipoic acid,
Go
though,
ahead.
is if you were going, and that is an antioxidant. It's important.
Yeah.
But if you were going to take an antioxidant, and there was a master antioxidant, wouldn't you take that one? Mm-hmm. So there is, and it's called glutathione. It's real expensive, and it even helps.
What is it called?
Glutathione.
Oh, gluta.
Weightlifters take it because it helps them recover faster. Weightlifters, martial artists, dancers, and it's made out of 4 things in your body. And I don't even remember what 3 of them are, but one of them is N-acetylcysteine. And I get N-acetylcysteine pills as one of the things I take, which also helps detox your body from environmental toxins, ridiculously important. It's a whole different talk on that. When you take N-acetylcysteine, that is the rate-limiting feature for the production of glutathione in your body. So it would be like you could take glutathione, but the bottle might cost $100. Or you could get a $10 bottle, 15, of N-acetylcysteine, and when you take that, you produce a ton of glutathione.
Interesting.
So if I was going to, that's why I'm not also take. There's nothing wrong with alpha lipoic acid. Everyone should take it, but everybody isn't even going to take 3 things. Dr. Oz went, please take these 4. Basically the same thing from Dr. Perricone.
I take things because I feel better, and the average person is always sluggish. And now the enzyme.
Super enzymes.
I take super enzymes because the older I get, I want to digest my food. Is this myth or is
No,
this?
see now I don't take super enzymes. I take broad spectrum enzymes, which has an enzyme in it for cellulose, which is plants, for lactose, in milk, for meat, for bread. There's 5 different enzymes, and I take a high potency, broad spectrum from one of the top 5 companies in the world.
Okay, it's called broad spectrum enzymes.
Well, that's what it says on the bottle. That's not the name
Okay.
of what it is, but it is and it would likely turn out to be a higher quality
Now,
one.
one Indian friend of mine told me to take the turmeric. What is
Turmeric.
it? And turmeric.
So turmeric is a yellow, delicious spice famous in Indian food that is extremely anti-inflammatory. It is one of the ingredients when you make curry. Curry isn't one spice. Curry is a mixture of 4, 5, or 6 spices, one of them being turmeric. American Medical Association has reported that if you will have 6 dishes with curry in it a week, you will significantly reduce your risk of heart attack, which also should then mean any type of inflammatory condition, which would then be your arthritis and stuff like that. But, there you go. Eat 6 Indian meals a week, and you significantly reduce your risk of heart attack.
Interesting. Now, of all this, what I should be taking is a multivitamin.
A good multivitamin.
A good one.
And just not too technical, the good multivitamin that I get it in capsule form, because the pills are the size of half of your thumb, and you would need to take 2 pills the size of half of your thumb every day. So I get it in capsules, which are easier to swallow, and you have to take 4 of them. And if you look at whatever vitamin you're taking, it's probably so small that there's no way it could have enough in it, or it's giant big because they put a lot of filler in it.
What about senior citizens? Should they take more vitamins
No.
or less vitamins, or the same as everybody else?
The same or less, just because they get sensitive. And it would be good. I mean, if usually the first time people eat fast food, they get sick. The first time they smoke a cigarette, they get sick. They have to get used to it. Sometimes the same thing happens with vitamins. But when you get used to it, then you are vivified. You are healthier and heal better than somebody who doesn't. We know that. Why should you take vitamins? That's why. We know it.
And
As
yet,
you get
there's
older, you might get more
cheaper
sensitive and have to
there's
take less.
expensive vitamins.
Yes.
And the people walk into a store, and I just walked into a store before here, and there's shelves and shelves of every vitamin
And
out there.
how do you know what to take?
And how do you know what to take?
Either you go to someone you can trust,
Right. Okay.
and you trust them and you get from them, and you're sure that you're not getting bootleg vitamins, from whoever it is you're going to. Watch that. It's in every industry, not just vitamins.
Could they call? Let me say, if
But
a
that's
person
what we
contacts you, and you would ask them what is wrong with you or what's wrong with your system, then you could tell them what vitamin to take.
Yeah, I use it like that, like vitamins. What's wrong with you? I give them an exam. I think about them, and you can just tell. Some people, they'll tell you, I have a bone sulfating disease. Please take calcium, magnesium, and vitamin D, and eat something with phosphorus in it.
So each person is going to be different, right?
Each person's going to be different, yet there will be a common denominators that are the same for everyone. Like those 4 vitamins Dr. Oz recommended.
Right.
Everyone needs them, period. That's why he recommended those.
Right, with it. Interesting. When we come back, we're gonna have a special treat because Dr. Pearl brought in the machine.
Oh, I thought you were going to have chocolate.
No, he brought in the machine, the cold laser therapy. And this cold laser therapy, people, you want to know
awesome.
about it. It's not only awesome, you need to get to know
As
with
a
this
chronic
machine.
pain patient, glad I have it.
Unbelievable. And if you're in this area, which we will go into, and before we go on a break, let me just say something. On the break, Dr. Carrie Flitter will be a guest on the show August 1st. He's the sponsor, and he's the attorney that sues the bill collectors. But next week, you don't want to miss next week. It's the scam show, all the scams out there. And I may be giving away $1 million next week. So,
I'm gonna
fact
listen
to
then.
fiction. So you don't want to miss this show. We'll be right back with this cold laser therapy.
Consumers, are you being harassed by debt collectors? Whether you owe the debt or not, if you're receiving phone calls or letters from collection agencies or law firms acting as debt collectors, you, the consumer, have rights. I'm consumer protection attorney Carrie Flitter. You have heard me as a guest on Pearl Polto Show. There are federal and state laws that protect consumers from the tactics used in the collection of debt. Whether your debt is owed or not, whether you've made payment arrangements or not, you have rights. If you're receiving letters or calls from debt collectors, feel free to contact our office toll-free at 888-668-1225. We'll review the communication you've received from the collector, or discuss any telephone calls. If your rights have been violated, we can bring legal action against the debt collector at no cost to you. Our telephone number is 888-668-1225 or visit our website, www.consumerslaw.com. That's consumerslaw with an S.com. This is Kerry Flitter, advocate for your consumer rights. The collectors have lawyers. You should have one too. Our number again, toll-free, Pennsylvania or New Jersey, 888-668-1225.
Welcome back to the Pearl Polto Show. My guest today is Dr. Paul, giving you an education of a lifetime when it comes to vitamins, good and bad, and what to use, what not to use. Not saying vitamins are bad, but they're all different. And maybe you're overtaking your vitamins, maybe you're undertaking your vitamins. You know, it was interesting because years ago, there was a pill out. And how people remember the bad and not the good, I'll never understand. But there was a pill out called a tryptophan. Remember it? And then they took it off the market. Why they took it off the market, I don't know. But then they put it back on the market. And the people still remember when they took it off the market. And they still, some places, I know Dr. Paul does because I have it. But why would they take, and a lot of people said to me, well, Pearl, if you're taking a tryptophan, didn't they take that off the market for a reason? They didn't even understand what the reason was. And I said, well, then they might as well take Thanksgiving off the market because we have turkey. In Turkey, a tryptophan is in turkey. Why did they, what is a tryptophan? Why did they take it off the market? And why do people just remember the negative of it?
Well, although there are wonderful and terrific people all over the place, most people remember what is negative. If you've ever watched the news, they only report negative things. That is what people concentrate on. Don't even want to talk about what they said was wrong with tryptophan, that they took it off the market. Whereas at one point they went, don't take more than 2,000 IUs of vitamin D. It'll destroy your liver because it's fat soluble. But now you take 5, take 10. They used to say, don't take more than maybe 300 milligrams of essential fatty acids. Now you can take 1,500. It was always just good for you. Tryptophan, I don't know who they are, but they must need somebody like me or Pearl working for them because it is an essential amino acid. Amino acids are the building blocks of proteins. There are 12 essential amino acids, and tryptophan is one of them. You get sick or die without tryptophan. Ridiculous not to have it on the market. It's only good for you. It's a key component of everyone's immune system, and if you don't have enough of it by eating enough of the right types of meats, dairy, which, I mean, I have a dairy-free diet, nuts, fish, you won't have enough tryptophan.
I bought a bottle from you, a tryptophan, and I'm so glad I did because at night, when I want to lay back and just relax, I take it and it just relaxes me. It doesn't put me in a slumber. It just relaxes me.
It takes the edge off.
Yes, it takes the edge off as if I ate turkey.
But it's good for you.
Yes.
Taking it improves your immune system, which I have a big interest in. If you look at the bottle, you know, you can't put that on the bottle because who cares about that but me or you. It says mood and sleep. And if you are deficient in tryptophan, as so many people, even heavy ones, are deficient in different essential parts of our diet, that it leads to 150 different diseases that are nutritional deficiency diseases.
I had you on a show, on my radio show one time, and we talked about cancer.
Okay.
And we talked about the people, what they should be taking and not taking. And now it's like it's all over the news. Like somebody had a microphone on the radio show, but it's all over. And you said it many times, and I would like you to say it again, what people should not be taking when they have cancer or to avoid cancer, the sugar, the candy, that whole thing you said.
There's certainly, I have, a page in my office, which is like about cancer, and I just, give it to everyone who has it. Some of those people are still alive and kicking. There's a story about an old Russian man who found that he had cancer when he came to this country. Having never gone to school, but understanding principles of natural Russian healing, they said, he went on a diet of strictly egg whites, which was just protein, because somehow he knew that cancer eats sugar for a living. And the story is he beat the cancer. we do know that sugar, for several different reasons, and that just it could be potatoes. If you hold a potato in your mouth for an hour, a raw one, it's going to get sweet. It turns into sugar. That's a certain type of reaction, and it's called something. They teach it in school to kids.
Interesting.
You know, that'll happen with potatoes. That'll happen with bread. That'll happen with almost any starch, rice. So if you cut all of the sugar, also is acidic, and we now know that cancer, virus, pain proliferate more in an acidic solution than in an alkaline solution. And what that means to us is if you eat cake, cookie, candy, bread, pasta, and booze, it makes your body more acidy. And if you eat 80% green leafy vegetables or drink like a green chlorophyll product like Iron Man does, then your body will be more alkaline and you will actually taste terrible to cancer, bacteria, virus, and parasite. And I want to be an unfavorable host for those four. Can you dig that?
Interesting. A lot of people, you know, you hear what we say. You hear what we say, and yet you do the direct opposite. And I see this every day, even with my clients or people that I talk to, friends and family. You hear us. And I always say, you hear us, but you're not listening. And sometimes we could save your life. And every time this show is about to save your life when it comes to many things. But this one thing, there's a couple things that we have that Dr. Paul brought. And I call it, it's a miracle thing to me because, but first we're going to go into,
to many people.
The first we're going to go into this little thing here. If you could see this, explain what this is and what it's for.
So what this is needleless acupuncture. This is electric acupuncture. Originally, there were 9 forms of acupuncture, and the purpose of acupuncture was to stimulate a point for a particular reason, to turn it on or turn it off. Now, even many doctors of traditional Chinese medicine, when they put a needle in you, they will then put a little alligator clip around it, and they will stimulate that needle with electricity. It could be done with this. That's transcutaneous, across the skin, electric stimulation. It can be done with or without a needle. Many Americans would prefer no needles.
Now I'm going to show you this doesn't hurt because I'm going to put my hand out. Now, if I did use this before. Dr. Paul has used this on me when I thought I was coming down with a virus or a flu. And when I went to his office and I said, I think I'm coming down with a virus or a flu, he put this on me, put it to a point, and we're doing it right now. And right now, I don't feel nothing. But when I left his office, I didn't feel like I had the flu or a virus.
So there was a Russian doctor named Krug who wrote a book, a woman doctor, PhD, called The Cure for All Diseases and the Cure for Cancer. When my mentor 25 years ago told me about it, you couldn't even get it in this country, but now with Amazon and, you know, books online, you can find it. And she talked about how you could build a little electric unit for purposes of shocking your body, for purposes of getting rid of disease. In fact, long before the person who we think discovered electricity, alchemists and wizards in castles had writings about generating and using electricity for the purpose of dispelling pain and disease. They thought they were getting rid of evil spirits. Now we use electricity. We know that this amount of electricity may give the electric chair to whatever has invaded her. Cold, virus, may. I said may.
Now,
it's not going to kill
as you
her.
See,
it
it's
didn't
not
kill
killing
her.
me. It's no pain, and it's over.
So I have stimulated 2 points on Pearl here. This is large intestine for Hagu. You can see at the meeting of 2 valleys. They've sold that point in America as something to relieve stress, where in Chinese medicine it's known as the all-healing point, a point that many energy meridians run through. And I did another point, which is that point is so important that it has a multiplication point, large intestine 11, for balancing the energy in the whole body. Yes, it helps with headaches. Yes, it helps with stress, but it's really for doing sort of like what CoQ10 does in the body. It has a very ubiquitous function, those 2 points balancing all of the energy of the whole body.
And what he didn't mention is if you have a sinus problem and have sinus headaches, I mean, he was putting it at one time right on my sinuses, and it's interesting. You know, this is not advertised. This is not, the doctors won't tell you about, but this is a lot of alternative medicine that we should be aware of and we should know. Now, the big benefit, the really big surprise that I said, and I'm surprised he just received it, is what is called the cold laser therapy. Now, even Dr. Oz doesn't have this, and
He knows what it is, though.
he knows what it is, and the University of Pennsylvania Hospital was using it, but not using it. Well, first of all, explain what cold laser therapy is.
So, sort of like on Star Trek or science fiction movies where they would take out a laser and it would heal things. Mm-hmm. We have hot lasers that they use for surgery, LASIK and so forth. If you held that on too long, it would burn you. They have another type of laser that's called cold laser therapy, and it has specific effects on biologic tissue. It causes pain relief, anti-inflammatory, and increased rates of healing. And it does that by affecting the energy production part of each cell, making it produce more energy, which actually cold laser therapy has been around since 1970. It's amazing that every dentist and orthopedist and orthopedic surgeon doesn't have it and don't use it like immediately after surgery, and so forth.
You said not to use. They should use it after surgery because it heals the wounds faster.
I would think in the future that is what's going to be going on.
So, and their stay in the hospital will be a lot less. But this cold laser therapy, now this is used for everything.
It is used for many things. Absolutely, for pain relief, anti-inflammatory, FDA, regulated and approved for knee and a type of arthritis, although it can be used on any type of arthritis. It is the same laser that grows hair. It is the same laser that we use for body contouring. Originally weight loss, now body contouring.
Now, when a person
I've had people come in with hemorrhoids. They're so glad I can use something that's anti-inflammatory, that does not involve touching them, using suppositories or creams.
When a person that's watching this right now, they're saying, well, how can one machine take care of everything?
Because of its effect on biologic tissue. Each cell, it causes the cell to start producing more energy, and it uses that energy to bring more food in and more waste out, making the cells act better, faster.
Now, this isn't going to kill you. As a matter of fact, I have an inflamed elbow. Now, we're going to use this. He's going to use this on my elbow. You're actually going to see, it doesn't hurt. You're going to see the time that I'm going to be talking as he's doing it. Now, what do you do if I was a patient in your office?
The reason this is now the #1 therapy for anything from hair growth, weight loss to pain is, for instance, you have tennis elbow. And that is lateral epicondylitis right in there. And where you can feel it is right in that little spot.
Yeah, you can.
Right, that's where you get it. And that little spot is between two bones and the size of the lead in a pencil. So what therapy are you going to put on that, in order to affect it?
I just go to the drugstore, buy spray it, and this is crazy. I think it's crazy. Now, this is the cold laser therapy.
Now, this particular laser has 19 lasers in it. And they're the top lasers used as far as we know today. You turn it on, it's set, and if you can see this, I am not missing anything. I am getting the whole entire area. It penetrates as much as 1.5 inches into the person, spreading out, causing anti-inflammatory, pain relief, and increased rates of healing. This would be like the Star Trek version. They call it healing at the speed of light.
And it's not killing me. There's no pain in this. It's not going to kill me when you hear the word laser. And as you see, it's just a cold laser therapy. Now, this is going into the root. It's going into the tissues, correct?
Absolutely.
And this is going to be like a healing effect where if I have any inflammation, the inflammation should go away. And not just for me, for the average consumer, but for seniors, for sports people out there, for people that are sitting at their computer every day and working every day, their back pains. What does it do for back pains for people that are chronic and had operations? Does it help?
Pain relief.
So it's the pain relief. You can actually, if you had an operation on your back, or if you have, there's a lot of things, if you really did some homework. Dr. Paul is the only one right now, as I said at the beginning, that has this cold laser therapy. sad enough to say the people in other states cannot take advantage of this. He could call them up and ask them questions on the vitamins and what vitamins to take, and he could guide you. This is phenomenon to the people here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Montgomery County, even in New Jersey. If you come that far, if you can go to his office, you can take advantage of everything, but you can take advantage on the phone of the vitamins, what vitamins that you should be taking, and he will actually advise you, and you could actually get the vitamins through him. And you could actually, if you're from the area, if you're going to see a chiropractor or you're going to a doctor and you're taking all these pills, let's say you're taking all these pills for your back or your knee or your shoulder, and you're so sick. You heard me on the show with the girl that says I'm addicted. My doctor's getting me addicted to pain medication. Well, get yourself off the pain medication. If somebody got himself off the pain medication and went on this, what would happen?
Well, if someone went on my Facebook, for instance, I am running a campaign for drug-free pain relief. And how I'm doing that is 95% of all insurance companies pay for you to get another type of machine, a TENS unit, for free, a pain relief machine at home. I send those home for people and have them come into the office because they're not allowed to purchase a cold laser. It's thousands of dollars, and
Right.
you have to be a doctor.
So what are you doing for them? What are you saying? You're sending what to their home, or they have?
No, they come into the office.
Okay.
They have an exam. If they have a painful condition, 95% of insurance companies pay for another pain relief machine to go home. Like, for instance, I'm a chronic pain patient. I need to be seen 2 or 3 times a week forever
Okay.
and do other kinds of therapy.
Is this good for people that smoke?
It is the type of laser that can be used for smoking cessation. So I do that as well. But what I was going to say, about the people, I'm a chronic pain patient. I need 100 visits a year. I need somebody to do something for me twice a week to make my pain less in different areas. No insurance company pays for that. The best insurance in the world, like federal employees, gives 60 visits. Everything else gives 30 or 20. It's not enough. So people can come in the area, can see me for $300 a month. They get 12 visits.
Wow. People,
It's like-
if you're from the area, I mean, I can't even say, 300 a month?
It's for 3 visits a week. I mean, older people with arthritis, they need to be seen 2 or 3 times a week forever.
And
But-
this is better than a pill.
It is better than a pill. I mean, it's better than any pain pills. I'll definitely say that.
So this could get them off the pain medication. I did a show on that a
It
couple
could
weeks
help,
ago.
absolutely.
And this is the cold laser therapy they can get them off of, and their pain can be minimum.
Right, it would help minimize their pain and theoretically help them take less drugs.
When I said that he was a Dr. Oz, I think he does a lot more than Dr. Oz does and has. Because,
He's an awesome guy, too.
well, Dr. Oz doesn't have the cold laser therapy, and if you're in the Philadelphia area, the Ben Salem area, the Montgomery County, the every area out there, including Jersey, and take the time to get in your car, set up an appointment. But if you just want the vitamins and you're still confused about the vitamins that you're taking, and you want to take the best vitamins, well then you're a phone call away. Even if you're in California or whatever country you're in, you're only a phone call away. You were talking about one time years ago, you said to me you were trained in China.
I was not trained in China. However, I did go to the American Academy of Clinical Acupuncture, and the acupuncture master of that school, the great Dr. Amaro, was trained in Beijing.
Okay. So you have all this experience. You must be frustrated because you're on a crusade to help a lot of people.
Oh, I am frustrated. I had a couple of my friends who have giant social networks on FreeCycle and so forth, and they posted for me, because I helped them, please contact Dr. Paul. 95% of insurance companies pay for a free TENS unit. So since your insurance company didn't send you a letter that says you can now get durable medical equipment that you have already paid for if you qualify, and no one knows, they said, call Paul. He'll get you one, and if you're in pain, he'll help you, and you'll have less pain, and it'd make him happy if you took less drugs and did more other stuff. And they all thought it was a ripoff because it was but it wasn't. We were just trying to help people, but people were so jaded.
Oh,
I mean, like I would risk my license to, to give somebody a 10s unit. It's hysterical.
That reminds me. There's people out there. I mean,
they can't screw up the cold laser therapy though. Come in 3 times a week. You're in pain. There you go.
People out there. I always say, if it's too good to be true, it's not true. But then sometimes you go for the scams. Like next week is the scams. You're going to be surprised. But this reminds me of a person years ago. His father passed away. He had a brand new Cadillac, and all he wanted to do was get rid of it. So what he did, brand new now, I think it was only 50 miles on this Cadillac. He put an ad in the paper, and the ad in the paper says, brand new Cadillac, $100. He didn't get one call, not one call. And a week later, he put another ad in and said, brand new Cadillac, 100 miles, $15,000. Well, he's got 15,000 calls. And he said, what's wrong with people?
Because if it's too good to be true, it probably is.
They could have had the same Cadillac for $100, and he would have had to sell it to them for $100. He could not figure this out. So with Dr. Paul, what I'm relating to here is when he's giving something away, you're saying, duh, it's too good to be true, it doesn't work, whatever. And yet you'll get ripped off with somebody else that's not being kosher to you. And I don't even get it. I mean, I always say, if it's too good to be true, do your homework. Do your homework, people. You're coming from years of experience with Dr. Paul, years of experience with me even telling you, because I'm putting everybody to the test, and this works. Trust me, it works, because as I said at the beginning of the show, you said you wouldn't know what you do without me as your credit expert. I would not know what to do without Dr. Paul, and thank God he's a phone call away. The people that are out there, if you're seeing a doctor, go to your doctor. You say to him, give me a test, and there is a test to see if you're vitamin deficient. Doctors don't know what vitamins they give you. They really don't know. They're not in the market of selling you vitamins. They're not even in the market of knowing all the concepts. As he said, every year it changes with vitamin D. Now everybody says, take vitamin D, it's for depression. Well, years ago, if you took this, if you took that, it wasn't good enough. Now everything is good enough. Our government changes every year. So I can understand why you're so confused. I can understand. I'm the credit expert. He's the health expert. When you have a credit problem, you come to me. When you have a health problem, yes, you go to your doctor, but if there's alternative medicine, so you're not hooked on all these pain pills and you're not addicted, watch the show of the girl that was addicted to pain medication. Watch the show. And then go back to this show and see, hey, you know what? Maybe this isn't so bad. You're in California. You won't have access to this cold laser therapy. But in this area, you have access to it. And all you have to do is pick the phone up. If this didn't give you all the questions, call them. Talk to them to say, here's what I have. Will this help me? What is a phone call? It's a free phone call. It's just picking the phone up. If a person wants to call you, Dr. Paul, how did they get a hold of you?
I would go to 267-693-8406. That's my cell. Also, I have a website which bears my name, drpaulteich.com. I wanted to lay on you, though, if you go to your medical doctor, who may be an extremely learned man or woman and brilliant, they do not normally test for vitamins or vitamin deficiencies, and no insurance company pays for it, and they charge you about $1,000 to do that. I would go, I can't remember his last name, but he's a friend of mine. His name is Dr. Dwayne. He's a brilliant naturopath, and he's on Huntington Pike in Rockledge, PA, and he's a biochemist. He would test you for everything and knows, like, that's his thing, everything about the body, vitamins, and so forth. So if you were somebody who wanted to be tested for vitamin deficiency, I would go to somebody like that.
Years ago on my radio show, I was on a radio show last year, and my own family doctor came on. He's not in the business anymore, but my own family doctor came on. We were talking about, we did a show like this, but I didn't know Dr. Paul then. And it was interesting because he said, I'm a doctor, but I'm not God. And all the people that called in, he said, you know what, I'm against all this medication I'm giving people. This is a regular MD. He said, I'm against all this medication, that it is addictive. So he went out of the business of being an MD, and guess what he did? He went into the business of a vitamin C. He opened up an office to infuse
Right.
vitamin C
In your blood.
in your blood, and he went into alternative medicine. This was a regular doctor. So if your doctor tells you, hey, you have high blood pressure, I'm no doctor, but if your doctor says high blood pressure, take the medication, find some solutions. There are alternative medicines like magnesium. There's a lot of things out
And
there.
I just want to lay on you, very important to me personally, the blood pressure medicines. Read where it says negative side effects or whatever it is they want to call it. They call it something else, which is like Madison Avenue sales side effects. That's Madison Avenue salesmanship to say, well, it doesn't cause this, but it does. It causes, one of them is depersonalization. And depersonalization is the acting out in ways that no one could believe that you ever would. And a lot of the behaviors that are making today on and off the internet that make today like Sodom and Gomorrah is depersonalization. So many people are on blood pressure medicine, you wouldn't believe it. And other medications, read it. And if it says depersonalization, it's just my opinion. And I can't tell anybody to take or not take drugs. I can just tell you, Dr. Polto, don't take no drug that says depersonalization, because it turns you into a murderer or a whore. It's like unbelievable. And they're pumping it in people and making people freaking insane.
Well, I'm going to
I
give
don't
you
hear anybody else talking about this either.
I'm going to give you a personal story on that. And
I
one
wrote to
is-
one of the
is-
drug companies.
One is myself, and one is a good personal friend of mine. And that personal good friend of mine is in a home right now in a vegetable. Now, what happened, he's on blood pressure medication. Now, I did my homework on blood pressure medication, and let me tell you why. He's in a home right now. He's a vegetable, and he was on blood pressure medication. And his blood pressure was still going up, and the doctor, every time it was going up, raised the medication. Well, he had a stroke. He had a stroke with this blood pressure medication. That's one. Number two, it was a client of mine. He was in moving day. He was moving the whole weekend, and he forgot to take his medication of the high blood pressure. Well, guess what happened? He died. Then, because of my stressful business and whatever, my doctor, who I fired, you're allowed to fire your doctor, who I fired, she said, you need to be on blood pressure medication. Your blood pressure is sky high. And I said, but I don't want to take it because I had the experience of my friend and my associate. At that time, she said it in front of the whole office, and I said, I quit. I quit you as a doctor. You can't force me into medication I don't want to take. So I went home and I did some homework, and I ran across a chiropractor, and that chiropractor said, Pearl, take magnesium tablets. There's other tablets out there that'll lower your blood pressure automatically. Don't take the blood pressure. I said I didn't want to take the blood pressure medication because many people were calling me now to saying, I want to get off this medication. I know it could kill you. My emotions are up. Well, you know what? I did get off the medication. I changed doctors, and I'm on this vitamin kick. And when I go to my doctor now, my present doctor, I say to him every time I go, what's my blood pressure? And he said, it's normal. And I put a smile on my face. He doesn't know the reason why. Well, now he does if he watches this show. But the doctors push you into blood pressure medication, and it's more dangerous than people realize it. Because one person had a stroke, one person's a vegetable in a hospital, and one person died. Every time they didn't take it, their blood pressure went up, and the doctor just changed it each time. So I think the moral of this show is try alternative medicine. It's healthy, it's not going to kill you, and it's healthier for you. So when you need your vitamins, when you need your blood pressure medication, no matter what disease you think you have, call Dr. Paul to say, here's what I got. Do you think you can help me? All you have to say is, do you think you can help me? He's going to be honest with you. You know, he's never going to have a home on a field, as I always put it, because the same with me. We're out to help the people. I'm an expert in my field. He's definitely an expert in his field. If you take this information and just listen, I always say this is not a show. This is to teach you how to live today and for tomorrow. You know, and give your number out again, Dr. Paul.
That will be Dr. Paul Teich, 267-693-8406. Thank you very much.
Next week, you don't want to miss next week's show because I may be giving away $1 million. Do you believe it? Well, you're going to see. You don't want to miss next week's show. This is Pearl Polto, as always, making the most of your credit. But today, the credit is to Dr. Paul. Take care of your health. Take care of you. See you next week.